It's catfish time. It's catfish time. Here on the fishing pole. So I'm out here, my newly constructed fishing shack here. We are going to do a review and to see why this thing is so popular. This is the 7.5-inch folding knife. It's Walmart's brand. It's called Ozark Trail. It has D2 high carbon steel. It has an injected handle. I guess it's like a polymer handle. I have two of them here. And we're going to start to do a quick review of this. So why is it so popular? I went to Walmart yesterday and I bought this, if you can see, for a whopping $9.97. So the Benchmade Bugout is about $171 compared to this, and it's almost, if not the same thing. It has this is called an axis lock. Basically, when you flip the blade out, it's got this locking mechanism here. It won't go down. You have to press this little button to release it. And it's got the little thumb stud here. It has, I think it's T6 Torx bits here if you want to take it apart. It does have a nice pocket clip here. Decent enough. I've been walking around with this now for about a week or so, and it does stand the test of time. But I wanted to see if this could be a good EDC fishing knife. So what am I talking about here? Whenever you go fishing, it's awful hard when you're missing items. I like to carry a rod, my license, and a few lures in my car just in case. And if I'm carrying this, I want to see if this is truly a good knife to use. We're going to go through some tests here. Ideally though, if you really wanted to, and you wanted to have an EDC, your best bet is to get something like this. This is a pair of braid scissors. They've got a really rubbery, it's almost like pretzel-like handle here. It's like silly putty. This is for cutting braid. This is absolutely perfect for cutting braid. And it looks like they've got some line strippers on here, which I've never noticed. These, probably about $6 or $7. I also went to Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight has this. It's a Gordon brand knife. It's a flipper. It has a GK24 steel. This was about $7. It is comparable to this. It is a little heavier, a little clunkier, maybe a little less rigid, but I'm going to use it. What I'm going to use this for is I'm going to use it for cutting line and cutting brush. Now, if you ever fished, this is braid. You do not want to mess cutting this up. If you have, you really need a pair of scissors like these to cut the braid with. So we're going to see if this knife does in fact do well with braid. And wow, that was quick. And it doesn't fray the braid too badly at all. So that's a win. I'm also going to look at, if you ever do any saltwater fishing where you use fluorocarbon, I don't know if the camera can pick this up. This is fluorocarbon. We're going to see if it can cut the fluorocarbon. I have a feeling this is not going to be a problem. It just cut the fluorocarbon. And I have a smaller monofilament. This is about 6 or 8 pound test, and I think we know what this is going to do. But again, we're using this for fishing applications. So really, it's good. The one thing I am extremely interested in, if I can find it here, is if you've ever done this to a lure, this is an old lure, it's either snapped off or you want to do a quick change and you leave the knot there. I'm going to see if we can get this braid off here. This is really, really heavy braid, so if it does it with this braid, we should be good. So we're going to see if we can flick it off. Yeah, it's fine. So the knife had no problem doing that. And the other thing you might want to consider if you're fishing is debris. If you have trees in the way, if you've hooked a tree, of course, I've never, ever, ever hooked a tree. So the people from the Pennsylvania Game Commission strategically placed this tree right above me so I can snag my lure. But in case you have, so just saying. We're gonna see if it can cut through. This is some really heavy This is some really heavy stuff I found in my backyard. Oh my gosh. I cut through it a little bit. And something like this, occasionally you'll throw your line up and you don't really notice the tree above you. And occasionally you will have to chop a branch off or two. Now ideally this would be better with a serrated blade. However, if you're holding it with one hand, you're holding the branch with one hand and you're holding the line with the other. And I'm rolling at this point, it will break. So that's how I see things as far from a fishing perspective. This isn't too bad. Really is a very clean flick. It has stainless steel ball bearings in here, so I'm told. This is G2 steel. It has a Rockwell hardness scale between like 55 and 62, which is nice. And there's a couple problems that have come up that I've seen on some reviews on this. Some people are having trouble with this access lock where it does not function. This one seems to function just fine. I have yet to test this one out, but just kind of be wary because sometimes this can foul. This knife is probably just the same. This is GK24 steel, and the hardness is about the same. The only issue with it is this is not as corrosion resistant as, let's say, this. This has chromium in it, I believe, and the D2 steel in this is hard, keeps an edge. The problem comes in when you want to try to sharpen this. When you want to try and sharpen it, you really need a ceramic or a diamond coated sharpener, which could run you probably more than this knife cost you. So, but you know, it is what it is. It really does make a really nice everyday carry. So, oops, let's mess that up. As a cicada is off in the background here. For a long time, I was using my little Civivi here. This is really nice. It does have some similar D2 steel. This is kind of overkill. The blade on this is a little over 3 inches. Actually, blade size is almost the same. This is a little beefier though, but it is D2 steel. This looks almost identical though, ironically. I spent about $50 or $60 on this knife. I spent $9 on this one. And if you've gone fishing, sometimes when you go fishing, you leave some stuff behind, or this could potentially fall in the water, which is why I kind of like, this is a dulled orange. A lot of the ones I've seen are a brighter orange. It's not a bad color if you're fishing, because if you lay this down, you know, it's not going to stick. This is going to stick out less than this is. You know, that's why we do color these brighter colors, so you can find it if you lay it down someplace. So recently, I have acquired some other EDC items for fishing. This is the Byberry, and I have to laugh when I hear that name, because if you grew up in and around the Philadelphia area, Byberry was the local mental institution. This is a Leatherman Wave clone, and this is my Leatherman Wave. This is about $40, and this has a really nice pair of pliers, which are great for fishing, and it also has a really, really decent pair of scissors on here. The only problem is the locking mechanism is a little off, but these will very easily cut braid and monofilament stuff. But I digress. We're going to look back at this one more time. This appears to be a really decent choice for general purpose. I'm afraid to use this one simply because if I use this one, I'm afraid of losing it, dulling it. This one, I can go back to Walmart and buy a new one, or use this one. I could buy 5 of these for the price of this. So, if you can, please like, please subscribe, please share, and hopefully I will have some more fishing videos out for you guys. But anyway, see you out there. Happy fishing. Ow! So, Walmart, 7.5 Ozark Trail, Benchmade Bugout clone. Is it a winner? Is it a dud? You decide. Kind of like it. Let's look for some squirrels. Squirrel! Just like Dune.